So we all know AI is reshaping our world. But who are the real unsung heroes on the front lines of this information revolution? Today, we're diving into how AI is hitting our libraries and asking the big question, are our librarians ready for what's coming? I mean, it's no secret, right? You've got AI research tools that can blow through millions of documents in seconds, personalized learning platforms. AI is literally everywhere. And it's not just for the big tech companies anymore. It's showing up in our most trusted places, like our local libraries. And that brings up a really critical question. It's one thing to have all this amazing tech, but are the people on the front lines, the professionals we rely on, actually prepared to use it the right way? Effectively and ethically?
Well, to get some answers, a recent study actually went out and mapped the AI readiness of library professionals. And let me tell you, the results are pretty eye-opening.
But first, we need to be really clear about what we're talking about here. AI literacy isn't just about knowing how to type a prompt into a chatbot. No, it goes way deeper. It's about really understanding the concepts, being able to look at what an AI gives you and spot potential bias, and knowing how to use it responsibly. So, how'd they figure this out? Well, this study surveyed 317 library and information science professionals. They were from 6 different countries across South Asia and the Middle East, giving us one of the first really solid looks into how this crucial group is handling the AI wave.
Okay, and this is where it gets super interesting, because what the study found was this huge disconnect, a gap between what librarians know about AI and what they're actually doing with it. To get a full picture, the researchers broke it down into 3 areas. First, you've got the cognitive part. Basically, do you get the theory behind AI? Then there's the behavioral side. Are you actually using AI tools in your day-to-day work? And finally, the normative dimension. Are you clued into the ethical minefields that come with AI?
Now, take a look at these scores. This chart really tells the story. Librarians scored highest on the cognitive stuff. That means they've got a really solid grasp of the theory. Their ethical awareness, that's the normative score, is also pretty high. But look at that behavioral score. It's definitely lagging behind.
In other words, a lot of librarians understand AI on paper, but they haven't quite made the leap to using it in their everyday work. For things like cataloging, analyzing data, or dreaming up new services for people who use the library.
So, if there's a gap, who's in the best spot to start closing it? The study actually dug into the demographics to find out who the real AI leaders are in this field. First question on the table, does having more degrees make you more AI savvy? Well, the data gives us a pretty clear answer on that one.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie. Your education level makes a huge difference. You can see this steady climb in understanding as you go from a bachelor's to a master's, with PhDs way out in front. And that makes a lot of sense, right? Advanced degrees are all about research and critical thinking, which are exactly the skills you need to get a handle on AI.
It also really matters where you work. Folks in university and special libraries, they reported much higher AI skills. Again, it's logical. They're surrounded by tech-driven research and probably have more resources and training opportunities than their colleagues in school and public libraries.
Now, this is a really fascinating twist. You'd probably think the youngest, newest professionals would be the most comfortable with AI, but nope. Turns out, the sweet spot, the peak proficiency, was among mid-career pros with 11 to 15 years of experience. It's like they have the perfect blend of institutional knowledge and recent motivation to adapt.
Okay, so we've sized up the problem, and we know who's leading the pack. But the real question is, how do we get everybody else up to speed?
And this is where this research is so valuable. It doesn't just diagnose the issue and walk away. It actually gives us a concrete roadmap for how to move forward.
So what does this roadmap look like? It's called the Human-Centered AI Literacy Framework. Think of it like building a house. First, you pour a strong foundation. That's your basic knowledge. Then, you put up the walls with practical, hands-on skills. The roof is your critical, ethical awareness that protects everything. And finally, you become a leader who can actually transform the whole culture around AI.
So, what does this all mean for us, for the public? Why should we care if our librarians are AI literate? Well, it turns out it's incredibly important.
For one thing, librarians are already thinking hard about the risks. Just look at this. Their #1 concern by a long shot is the need for clear ethical guidelines. They're not just blindly adopting new tech. They are thinking deeply about bias, privacy, and transparency.
And that's exactly why this matters so much to all of us. In a world that is just flooded with misinformation and AI-generated content, we need trusted human guides more than ever. An AI-literate librarian isn't just someone who helps you find a book. They're our essential ally for navigating this new, complex digital landscape.
The study's conclusion really just says it all perfectly. Training librarians in AI isn't about replacing them with machines. It's about empowering them to do what they do best, championing equitable access, intellectual freedom, and making sure our knowledge system stays centered on, well, humans.
So, to wrap it all up, there's a big gap between knowing about AI and actually using it in our libraries. We know that education and experience matter a lot, but the good news is there's a clear path forward with this human-centered AI framework. And maybe most importantly, our librarians are already thinking about the ethics, ready to be our guides.
Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. As artificial intelligence gets smarter and smarter, this whole discussion really makes you ask, what is the true, irreplaceable value of human wisdom when it comes to guiding us through all this information? Something to think about.